What's going on, YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Gift guide $50 and below. As I mentioned for the previous gift guide of $100 and below, ladies, I know y'all are shopping early. So, fellas, send this to your significant other, wife, spouse, whatever. This is shit that we actually want and we will use. Let's start off with some knives. We're going to start off first with the artisan cutlery. This is the Simoon. I like this one because it has their recoil lock and the super lock, recoil lock, whatever you want to call it. A lot of different companies are taking advantage of the fact that this is not patented. The person that came up with this design and this lock, he's just kind of like, he just tells folks to have at it, which now allows for you when you pull that recoil lock, you can use that to deploy the knife, redeploy the knife, or you can use the crossbar access to that lock as well. Very, very intuitive design. And honestly, it would take a company, a Chinese company with the way that they can scale and make so many other knives like artisan cutlery for them to get the price to be $49.99 on something like this. It is using their in-house ARRPM9 blade steel, which has great edge retention. It is proprietary to them. I think it works pretty nice. And listen, the crazy shape of the knife is going to make for good utility type of cuts when you're putting it down on a flat surface or something like that. It also gives you a little bit of a finger choil up here. So if you want to choke up on the knife and kind of use it for like shaving something away or cutting away from your body, very pretty good actionable knife itself. I mean, look how easy this thing is actually working itself out. And the thumb studs are a little slippery, but this just came out a couple of weeks ago. So it is highly unlikely that your guy has this knife. You're not going to spend a ton of money on it. The G10 scales and the reversible pocket clip means that if your fella's left-handed, you won't have to feel bad that you bought one. It's going to be compatible for him. And I think it looks pretty good for something that's only 50 bucks. So that's going to be my first recommendation when it comes to the knives. Now, Mossy Oak has thoroughly impressed me with their G10 CNC machined 17-in-1 multi-tool, which you can use for all sorts of use cases. And it is giving the Leatherman Wave Alpha a run for its money. This Mossy Oak multi-tool is $35.99. Let's call it 36 bucks. This Leatherman Wave multi-tool, $200, and it doesn't come with a pocket clip. So that's additional $10, $15 just to carry it. This comes with a removable pocket clip. It comes with a sheath, okay? And you can take the pocket. I particularly don't like how big the brand name is on that pocket clip. You can just push this little button on the side, take the pocket clip off. So that makes life that much easier if you want to keep this thing in a pouch or something like that. But I like the G10 design of this. You can tell it is CNC machine from that designing. It looks really, really good. The only big difference is if you have to know a little bit about your guy, because these are spring-loaded pliers. And the benefit of spring-loaded pliers is that if you want to work one-handed on something, the pliers obviously automatically open themselves back up. So if you need to re-engage on top of a boat, the pliers are doing it themselves. If your guy doesn't like to work that way, he may not like these pliers, but it does have replaceable wire cutters. It has the pliers themselves. It has a very good tool set with a bit driver. This bit driver is compatible with Leatherman's bits. It's also compatible with Leatherman's extension tools. So if you have any of those laying around, you can use an extender on there, which will allow for you to get a 1/4 bit in there instead of the flat bits. You're also going to get in here a pry bar wire stripper combo, okay? And the thing I like about this is that the price point lets you determine, or lets the person you're buying this for determine if they even like carrying a multi-tool or having a multi-tool available to them. They may hate it. And the fact is you didn't spend a ton of money to get this into their pocket. So a very good tool set, can opener, bottle cap lifter combo and all. So listen, and you also got a little hook tool, which you can use for like, get this pull like a hot pot off of a fire or cut rope or whatever you might want to do with that. Maybe cut away some fur of an animal you just killed. And then you do get a knife. They do not talk about what the blade seal is on this knife. Assume that it's very, very cheap. So you probably want to carry a good pocket knife with you. You do get a file. Now, this is only a one-sided file, which is going to be particularly only good for metal. You don't get the wood file. The other side is actually a ruler. Okay. So if you care about having both, then that's something to keep in mind. You do get a big pair of scissors, and they seem like they function well. They have the spring system actually deployed pretty easily. All these kind of redeploy with the liner lock. And then you get a saw, which is going to be good for taking down like little 2-inch, 3-inch branches or stuff like that. So, missing a serrated blade and whatever, but 36 bucks, I think I would take that all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. So we can do something like that very easily. Now, this is my favorite flashlight to carry in my pocket. I talk about flashlights a lot on this pocket or on this channel. And when I'm not reviewing or preparing to review a flashlight, this is the one I go back to, throw in my pocket, and keep living my life. This is the Manker EOS 5 Mark II titanium high density, high CRI flashlight. I have the 6500 Kelvin 1300 lumen version. There's an 800 lumen version, which has different emitters on the front. If this is all sounding like Spanish to you, just know, does your guy want to have more brightness or less brightness? Does he want to have, what type of emitters does he want to have? But the reason I got the 1300 version, because it does have a strobe light, which is very, very unique for a 14500 battery or AA battery slash flashlight, because I can go strobe warning, half press, and then half flash quickly again. And you get a strobe light, which is actually pretty usable for a light this size. So imagine you're using this to walk your dog. If you're using this to walk to a vehicle or whatever, to have a little protection plan like that, I think is pretty good. And as mentioned, this is a flashlight that uses a 14500 battery, meaning that if this battery dies, you can throw a AA in here and keep using the flashlight. My only complaint about it is you do have to completely take the flashlight apart to charge it. There's no outboard USB-C charging port, which is actually, I say complaint, I like the aesthetics of not having a port on the outside. You may care. And I don't particularly wear hats very often. So if you want to wear this on your hat, it doesn't have a reversible pocket clip. So you think about that. But comes in at less than 50 bucks. Right now has a 15% off coupon for the 800 lumen version. And if you want to spend less, you can get it in aluminum, and it's like 29 bucks. I'll link all that stuff down below. Matter of fact, anything I link down below, assume it's an affiliate link. If you use it, you're going to be helping the channel out, and we do appreciate stuff like that. Look at this big boy driver. Big boy driver by CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool. And you may ask yourself, why the heck would I buy him a traditional tool? Ladies, this is when I ask you to go take a peek, pay attention to his little craft area, okay? This is what I use for crafting, okay? I have this little silicone mat, and if I'm taking apart a knife, if I'm taking apart some electronics, I'm reworking a multi-tool, this mat gets pulled out and I begin to use it. I have a 4mm driver by iFixit, okay? Then I have a 1/4-inch driver by the CRKT. Now, if you go out and look at his little tinker area, and all he has is a regular size screwdriver, maybe even a ratcheting screwdriver. This is a very unique gift to get him that is still usable in his craft area, but also he can take this and he can travel with it, put it in a pouch, put it in his pocket, whatever. It looks pretty cool. Has a spinning head on top, which is great for fidgeting with. But the reason that this spinning head is important is so that you can actually spin the tool in your hand. And because the actual tool is spinning in the palm of my hand, it makes it easier to use. This is using 1/4 bits. So you have to keep that in mind. But other than that, I like the fact this thing normally comes in less than 25 bucks. I think it's pretty aesthetically pleasing, and it's actually very small, discreet, and it works well on my little maintenance area that I use quite often. So that is something that you can go take a peek at and see, does he have something like that already? And maybe you can pick that up for him as well. Now, hero clips. Hero clips are so effing important. I have every single size that they make. Here with me, I only have the small, medium, and large. On a pair of my wife's keys, she has the mini version. Mini versions are great for, as I just mentioned, your keychains. Going to be good for hooking it to stuff quickly, snapping it to a purse or whatever. Those are great for that. Small is going to be good for keeping like a sling bag elevated. So you know, a sling bag that once you still want to be able to hang it from stuff, small version. At a minimum, okay, if you can't figure out which one to get, you can get the 3-pack for 45 bucks. But at a minimum, I would say get a medium. I have a medium hanging on this bag right now. I just pulled it off this table. Medium size hero clips allow for you to hang most backpacks off of tables. So I'm hanging it off this table right now. I have another bag hanging off a table with a hero clip. Okay. The medium size hero clip can hold up to 60 pounds. If you want to get a large, I use a large to actually hang some of my e-bikes off the floor because this can hold up to 100 pounds. Most of my e-bikes are between 70 and 90 pounds. So it's going to be up to you. At a minimum, I say get yourself a few mediums, but they're great for being able to, you're going to go to a real suspect Church's Chicken, which I like to do. I don't like putting my bag on the floor at that Church's Chicken. I hang it off the table. You're at an auditorium. You're going to a play. You're going to a musical at like a high school. You got to bring a diaper bag with you. Hero clips are great for hanging off the seat in front of you. So that way you can still have access or keep your stuff off of the popcorn laden, Coke laden floor. And they're relatively affordable. So absolutely check those out. Listen, if you're getting good content out of this video, hit the subscribe button and the like button. I would appreciate that. It kind of puts me in an algorithm, lets other folks know that you like this type of content, and we appreciate that. So we got to talk about charging options. On the last video, we talked about under 100, but above 50. I gave you the smallest 10,000 milliamp hour charger on the market. That's by Nicor. This is not the smallest. This is a 10,000 milliamp hour battery bank, but it's freaking big because it includes an actual 2-prong plug. So you can plug this in a wall and pass through power. And while this is plugged in the wall, this thing will charge itself and pass power through to whatever item that you are wanting to charge up. As a very easy to read LCD screen on there. It has smart charging. So if it's plugged up, it can charge your devices slowly. If your device itself does like good smart night charging, has a built-in loop, and it has a retractable cable that looks like a record, right? So about a little bit less than 2.5 foot cable built into this thing, which actually recoils into what looks like a record player. So I think that looks pretty dope. It's going to be up to you. But Charge is always coming out with unique stuff. So it has a USB-C out port on here, as I mentioned, plus the built-in cable. We got to talk about the O-Clip. This is the Olight O-Clip Ultra. This is a light that has a good flood beam, spot beam, and a UV mode. So you get a decent spot beam. You can switch that over to the UV light, which I use the UV light to illuminate my watch for a second. There you go. Or you can switch it over to the flood mode. So flood mode, spot mode, UV light. Now, the thing about this light that I like is that it switches modes while it's still on. That's pretty dope. Another thing I like is that you can do stuff like this. You're wearing a chest pack or whatever. You can take this, you can clip it to your chest pack, and now it's going to be used for whatever. If you're wearing a backpack, you can clip it to your strap. Very, very strong clip on this. It's never falling off anything. It uses USB Type-C to recharge it, and a USB Type-C is included in the box, and it's a very nice metal cover. The entire back of this thing is magnetic, so that means that if you need to hang it from use it on different surfaces, you can, and you're going to have the ability to use this for maintenance tasks around the house or whatever. Because it does have a magnet on this bad boy. Then it has a little hole in the back if you want to attach a lanyard to it. Just a very capable little flashlight from Olight for 50 bucks, which is a very good deal. Now, the crazy thing is you may ask yourself the chest rig. If you want to try to promote your man to get out and walk a little bit more, you don't want him wearing his big old kind of like his sappy plate carrier or his flak jacket. These little chest rigs are becoming very popular and they're very comfortable. I have one in multicam. Kind of wish I had multicam black. Mrs. X, if you're watching, I want one of these in multicam black. Now, I'm going to probably change mine a little bit more because I want something that has a little bit more access to my CCW. If I'm on a trail, maybe I don't want to put it on my waist. I want one that opens up a little bit more to get my weapon out easier. But this one's been working well. It has Molly on the front. And you can adjust it with the straps. And I like the fact that it has a very decent sized pocket in there with a built-in, even the pocket on the inside has a built-in, one built-in loop panel, and then they give you an included like holder in here for whatever the heck you might want to attach to this. Then itself is just a big dump area with, it's also loop line, which does promote you putting a CCW in here, but it's not very accessible. But I kind of like this. I dig it. And this thing only cost me $25. I think I would probably bump it up more and probably get one around the $36, $37 range that gave me more access to my weapon. But this works out for me. I like the way it works. Now, listen, if you got a fella, okay, you got a guy who he insists on bringing a flashlight with him everywhere, including date night. Some of these flashlights don't work for date night. Okay. They're going to be hanging out your pocket if you're at a ball or a gala, like we were just the other day. Or if you're going to a Halloween party, you're going to a Christmas party. He still wants to bring a flashlight. Get him the Rovivant Aurora A8 Gen 4. This thing has a has a white LED in the front. It has a white LED on the side, a red light, and a UV light. It has a pocket clip, which I never use. It has a magnetic tail cap, which I don't use often, but I mean, it still is kind of usable if you need to throw this and use it for whatever reason. But what I like about it is one press gets you a momentary on. Okay. So if you just need to quickly illuminate something, boom, momentary on. Double press gets the flashlight turned on. And then you just tap it to go through those three different modes. The three different modes does bring you up to 650 lumens, which is pretty good stuff as well. Now, the thing is that if you want, you can triple press, and that's going to get you the UV light. It gets you this UV light, and UV light is good for looking for stains on stuff or whatever. And you can also get the red light by pressing it one more time, and the flashing light. 4 presses will get you the side LED light, which is kind of like a lantern mode. So you get this, it's kind of like a sort of like a lantern mode. You can kind of use this. Now, maybe you are hanging this up inside of a small car or whatever. And when it's up like this, now you have a little bit of light kind of producing for you. This thing is pretty intuitive to be $50. I mean, it does have a lot of different features on it. I will admit, I only tend to carry this on date nights, places where I need to be more discreet with a flashlight. That's just me. If going to a club or going to a bar, this is normally a flashlight that goes in my pocket, but that's just kind of how I like to rock and roll. I always like to have one with me. Speaking of having one with me, if your guy, he doesn't yet carry a pocket knife, or you want to get a teen a pocket knife for the first time, we can go get that Ozark Trails pocket knife from Walmart. It's popular right now. But also this knife has very, very been favorable for somebody with smaller hands. This is the Mossy Oak G10 handled pocket knife. It doesn't have a name. It's just called the G10 pocket knife. But it has a very easy to deploy crossbar lock. Comes in at $19 most of the time. I think MSRP is $25. It's normally $19. It is D2 blade steel. Now, the heat treat on it, I don't know. Okay, I don't know how long it's going to be until you have to sharpen it, but it won't be the hardest thing to sharpen. And it does have like this shape that reminds me of a fish. It kind of tails off like this, but because of that, it is better for someone that has smaller hands. The lanyard holder is in the back. It is, you can not swap the pocket clip. So if you are wrong-handed, it will be inconvenient for you. And I say smaller hands because it's kind of hard. I can't Spidey flick this. Like I just can't really, me and Spidey flicking. I can reverse flick it with the index, but I can't straight Spidey flick it. I can do it with the thumb, and I can walk it open pretty easily. But like I say, $20. These G10 scales feel really, really good. It would be nice to have a little bit more texture to them, but it is what it is. I mean, Mossy Oak is definitely stepping their game up. For years, Mossy Oak was very bad at making pocket knives. They used to make knives like these that made you carry tip down in your pocket. You couldn't, the pocket clip felt like it was going to destroy your pants immediately. They've just made so many improvements to these little knives that I think that they're becoming worth it more and more. So I even swapped this out and put it on my EDC tray. Shameless self-promotion. Just in case you're looking for that. Drop 2 of my EDC trays about to come. This is not going to be less than $50, but this is how stuff looks in it when I have stuff in it quite often. So that's something to think about. Now, let's just say, for instance, you really do want a light that does more than that Manker light I showed you earlier. This might be the light for you. Recently released is the Ace Beam K1. This has a white LED a UV lights and a green laser beam combo at 1,000 high lumen mode. It does have a bigger head on it, so sometimes it may be uncomfortable to put in the pocket, but I don't think it's that bad. And it has a decent pocket clip. For me, it has a little bit too much writing. There's a lot going on, but you know what? It's 39 bucks. It has all three of those modes. There you go. So you got the white light. I can swap over to the green light by just twisting this head, UV light by twisting this head. And this allows for me to go from any mode by just simply twisting the top up here. Now, I haven't dived into the instruction manual on this thing. I haven't figured out, is there a way to use the white light and the laser at the same time? Because I do enjoy doing that. No, I'm not really seeing that happen. So that's one thing that's important to me is the ability to use the laser and the white light at the same time. Because if you're illuminating something for somebody in a closet, they're a dodo head, and you want to point at it, you could use a laser for that. But you can spend more and get that from like Olight. But this price, I think, is pretty good for what you're getting. Great for like walking a dog. Great for keeping in a kitchen junk drawer to be able to do maintenance on stuff. Has a very good, pretty good tail switch. You can get it in green. You can also get it in black. So there we go. So you found a new home on the tray for the Ace Beam. Now let's just talk about the guy that likes to be prepared. The Be Prepared Pocket Survival Kit. This is by Best Glide ASC. I'll link up the review that I did on this. This is a very good, comprehensive, not really pocket kit, maybe cargo pocket. But what this has is for $50, this has hours of time. Your husband doesn't have to go putting together a little pocket survival kit. Stuff in here like snare wire, beeswax, a small fishing kit. It does have a little baby knife in here. It has water survival bags, pencils, fire starting material, all sorts of stuff in this thing. A little bit bigger than an Altoid size can, and he doesn't have to DIY it himself. Best Glide ASC makes some of the best stuff on the market. They actually put these kits together in Texas. Most of the stuff in here is made in America. If it's not made in America, they test it before they include it in any of their kits. So you're gonna have stuff that's made in different countries around the world, but they've tested it here in Texas, and they supply stuff for other companies such as Essie or Rando Adventure companies. So I would just definitely get that, keep that in the armrest of his truck or something like that, and be good to go. I have got to talk about my favorite way to take notes when I am working, field notes. Okay. I do have a traditional journal, which I've shown plenty of times on this channel, but these were reporter style field notes. They're 70 pages or 140 if you flip it and use it on both sides. They're just great for being able to quickly take some notes in a lot of different environments. They also include some information on here, like some information about who this belongs to, different time zones. I doubt that your dude is going to have something like this. They may have the smaller field notes, which the A5 size or A7 or whatever they may have, but they probably don't have these. So if he's the type of person that takes a lot of lists, whether it is ideas, grocery lists, content for social media, whatever, get him some of these. You can get like a 2-pack for $17. Now, writing purposes, we got to talk about Bastion and how much people sleep on Bastion. Now, Bastion is making their stuff overseas. If you want stuff made in America, it's going to cost you at least $120. These are going to cost you normally $40, unless you get the aluminum version, which are normally $29. This one on my left is the stainless steel boat action pen. It's $40. This is the G10 version. I don't know if this is still available, but it costs a little bit more if he wants something a little bit lighter weight. Let's just talk about the stainless steel version. So it does come with Bastion's internal refills. I don't really like their pen refills. They're not the greatest, but you can put a G2 in here. Okay, you can get a refill from the good old internets, and you can just find the appropriate size and put it in here for a better writing experience. That boat action makes it fun to fidget with and to use. Be careful taking this through TSA. I almost always get stopped when I take one of these through TSA. They let me keep it, but I almost always get stopped. Stainless steel is going to cost you about 40 bucks. You want the titanium, it's going to be a little bit more than 50, like 55, 60 bucks. These are great. If your guy does a lot of writing, you see him using a lot of G2 Pilot pens, give him one of those and put a G2 refill inside and see what he thinks about it. He may rock with it and he may be ready to go. Here is one of my favorite lanterns. Let's just talk about it real quick. Coast on. The Coast. This is the Echo Alpha Lima 35 Romeo lantern. Coast red, coast flashing, coast white, coast off. This is so fantastic. It's intuitive, has a decent size handle that's built in that you can barely see. Of course, it's mostly plastic. That's why they're able to get this price down to be 40 bucks. Comes in multiple colors. I have like this tan color, comes in black and a green and a blue. Has a built-in battery. You turn on that voice activation with this button. You can turn it off if that annoys you, but also you can also just turn on by pushing this button. You don't have to use your voice, okay? And that cycles through the different areas, right? And while it's off, if you hold that button, it's gonna get you to the red. It still does all the same stuff without using your voice. Built-in battery, but let's say you forgot to charge the battery or the battery dies while you're out there. You can also throw AA batteries in here. There are none in here and it's working. So you can tell that these are emergency backups. They're not primary. They're not the primary way. It has rubber on the bottom, which keeps it from moving around when you have it on a surface outside. It's very grippy, so it's easy to hold in one hand while you're walking. You can use the lantern as well. But another smart thing that they did is they built in an area for you to keep the USB-C cable. Smart. Okay. That makes it so that if you shouldn't forget the USB-C cable because it is built into the top of this bad boy. Also, it inputs and outputs with USB-C. Let me turn it off for you. There you go. Inputs and outputs with USB-C. No more USB-A. So you can output with that top, input with the bottom. That means you can charge other devices with this. How big is the battery? I don't know. I don't know how big. It's probably on the specifications on the website. Using your voice to turn this on and off, dope. The fact they gave us this technology for 40 bucks, dope-er. That's not really a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. Let's talk about a wallet that can be your little sidekick. This is a Lockbee Sidekick V1. V2 has dropped. I don't have that one, but it's very similar to this one. Only difference, it has a grab handle up here, which seems to make a lot of sense. RFID blocking technology, holds a full-size pen. It holds an A7 size notebook. So that's going to make it so if you are deciding you want to try a pen out, there you go. You got yourself a pen you can throw in here. You can put yourself a notebook, business cards, or some credit cards. You can stick some cash back here. This is going to be a wallet that's going to be primarily a front carry. You probably put this in your back pocket. Made of wax canvas, $29. This is a very good wallet for 29 bucks. The fact that you can put a pen in here, I really like the way what they did with this. This is a collaboration with Max Level EDC. And he's a great channel here on YouTube as well. But very simple design. Lockbee we still got to keep talking about them because this is the Lockbee Venture Pouch. The thing I like about this is it has slots right here, so you can put a bunch of items in it. So let's just say, for instance, you want to put your little multi-tool in here. You can stick that in here. You can put your flashlight in here. And then you still have room to put other items in here if you want to. Then on the other side, this is more like of a dump area, kind of just a big old area where you can throw additional items in here. This thing kind of stands up on its own. You can throw your little pocket survival kit. Like, this is a very nice pouch that they're working with here. And the thing I like about this is grabbing it out of a bag. So when this thing is inside of a backpack, you can grab it by this good grab handle up here. Comes out easily. You can buy yourself some straps and find different ways to strap it to different devices or whatever. Made of wax canvas. This is a very good intuitive pouch. They make a mini version of this, and I'll link that up down below as well. The mini version of this bad boy actually works great for keeping like extra cables and stuff in like the armrest of your vehicle. But I like this. It's a very good 50 bucks for $49. And you're going to have actually, I think a pretty unique item that he may not already own, but you're going to really, really like. This is an oldie but a goodie, and I just got it. For years, I owned the Maxpedition Fatty. Well, Maxpedition recently reached out to me, and they sent me the Beefy. I didn't know I needed the Beefy until I got the Beefy, okay? Big old pocket in the front, which I will never keep anything inside, except for maybe maps, chewing gum, maybe a pry bar, but I just don't want the hassle sticking my hand in there. Loop panel. Molly ready. Buy the straps on your own. Doesn't come with the straps. But you don't care about that stuff. What we care about is the inside storage. Baby, you got all the room in the world for a lot of different stuff. Big, big 3 Molly size panels, elastic straps over here. I got a full size knife. Well, I say full size. It's a decent size Guardian G2 knife that we're rocking up here by Bradford. Okay. Made in America. We got a pen, a multi-tool, a Olight Seeker 4 Pro, which is a decent size, a big old slip pocket back here, which has field notes, field books, the charging cable for this flashlight, just a big survival kit with another zippered pocket over here. I didn't know I needed this, okay, till I got it and redid my survival kit. This is great. This thing is fantastic. It will run you about $32. I think the price may vary on color. I showed you guys yesterday my favorite tech pouch, and that is currently the Orbit Key 2-in-1 tech pouch. But that thing does start at like 60 bucks, 70 bucks. This thing is directly going after Peak Designs tech pouch, which is over $50. And this is $25 most of the time, okay? Check the link down below. This is the Initech Tech Organizer. It's water resistant, has a very large capacity. It comes with a strap so you can wear it like a sling bag, and you put the straps here. I lost the straps day one or something like that. I've never used this as a sling bag or a strap, but you can get out of a bag this way. You can get it out of a bag this way, even though the strap's kind of hard to get to. And you can get it out of your backpack this way. 3 different ways to get out of a backpack. That's great. Stands up on its own. Very large compartments to store crap. So we got this front area. Only thing I have in here is the Big Griffin pocket tool, but a lot of area if you want to put some SSDs, you want to put some battery banks, whatever you want to throw in here, you can put those in here. Plus some areas for some stuff you can put sideways. And here's the thing about this. It has an area in the back, which I think they could have got rid of and not kept this, because I'm going to always stuff this like a burrito. It's almost unusable space back here unless you put like a little tracker maybe. But the main compartment, 2 different ways to really utilize it. First, you can open it and kind of peek at it, right? And kind of open it up like this, and it almost opens. It almost opens fully, okay? But on the side right here, there's a little hook. If you take that hook apart, it now opens completely. So when you get to your destination, you can open this up like so and see everything inside. That's why I like to travel with this one, not necessarily keep it on my desk. On my desk is just too effing big. But travel with it. Do I have all the battery banks that I want for when I get to the hotel? All the cords that I want for when I get to the hotel? Maybe some hand sanitizer, whatever. So you really have 3 different distinct, or it's 4 different distinct areas if you include that front zipper pocket, but 3 inside of this area. 2 big areas here. I have some USB-C cables right here. I have a multi-tool. I have a little fixed blade knife. There's an empty area back here, which I don't even have anything in, but you could throw stuff in there if you wanted to. The middle area, I have an iPod Touch, okay? So I can keep my beats. I have a MagSafe charger, which is good for using on travel. Put on the back of your phone. Another USB-C cable, which you can't have enough of these when you're traveling. That's a 4-in-1 cable, so it also has lightning. Another USB-C cable. Now, you may ask, why the hell do you have so many? When you travel, you need a lot of cables. Charge a cell phone, a computer. Maybe you have an additional phone for whatever reason. Maybe you need to charge a smartwatch or something like that. I have a 4-in-1 charging brick by EcoFlow, so I can use all those USB-C cables. The other side here, I have one of those field reporter notes. This one is actually full of crap because I told you I use these things all the time for writing. So I love my little reporter notes. And you see how big it is. It can fit that reporter note in there. Then I have behind it an SSD, so I can move files over when I'm doing YouTube on the go. I have a tracker card, which maybe I should put the tracker card on an outside pocket. But what this card does is this is just basically a tracker which tracks this entire bag if I were to lose it or whatnot. And it works on the Apple Find My system. Then I have a cord, which I need, in-ear monitors, which I need for the iPod Touch. You can use Bluetooth with iPod Touch, but I like to wear wired earbuds. And I have another boat action pen, this one by Tactile Turn. Then I have this little Alloy X flashlight, which is good for looking inside of this bag if I get to my destination and it's not well lit, or if I want to look for something underneath a hotel bed or whatever. This thing is great. I would advise that you don't forget to rehook this hook, because when you open it, it will open up sometimes depending on what you have loaded up on here. So let's just make sure that you do keep this hooked up, because it can be a bane in your existence. Last but not least, you're talking about traveling. This little bag is becoming one of my favorite travel companions the more family members I began to have. For the longest time, I was using the TomTalk Wanderer sling bag. That thing is great, but it is kind of big. This is the TomTalk Aviator T37 X Pack for the material. All right. This can hold up to 6 passports. It has a pocket here, has a smaller pocket up here, which is perfect for carrying like a AirPods or something like that. You see the hyper orange interior. This front area right here has a key leash, so you can put your keys in there and still lean toward your front door and whatnot. Has a couple of attachment points. Remember, I told you guys, get yourself small hero clip, because then you can do stuff like put a hero clip through this outside area and it's still usable to keep it with you or whatnot. The very back has a storage area, so if you want to quickly maybe throw your tickets when you're about to board a plane, or your passport back here because you don't want to hold it in your hand, or your cell phone, whatever. So you can easily put a large size cell phone. This is an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Does have very good built-in straps, and this works well like underneath an armpit or in like front of you, however you may want to wear it. It does carry upright, which is important for going through the bag when you get to a destination. But inside, I like the fact it doesn't fully open, but you can kind of still peel back the onion. You see you have a small little area up here, which is good for keeping maybe another AirPods, or keeping any type of like chapstick or whatever you may want to keep in there. Behind it is a large mesh pocket, and it's see-through. So you can quickly glance and see, am I forgetting something? Okay, that's important. Behind it, or on the other side, you're going to get another mesh pocket right here, which is good for keeping a cell phone. But then you get a big area in the very back where you can put a bunch of passports, passport size. So you can easily just stick passports throughout this bad boy. It has an area for a pen in here, so just in case you need to write something. This is a very good travel size little sling bag. I didn't think I was going to like it so much, but I really do. And it's normally 50 bucks. I think the black one's even cheaper, but I like green. Green is the quickest way to get to my heart. $50 and below, man's gift guide for shit that we will actually use. Yes, yes, yes. Other things I guess save rounds. You can get a little holder for their pepper gel. Your dude, if he's a protector like he probably already has pepper gel, but you can get yourself a holder for the pepper gel. Okay. I'll link this up down below, because I do enjoy this, because this can go from place to place. That's about it, man. So a lot of different stuff that I think are options for the $50 or below, which are unique and go beyond socks and a tie. Don't buy me. Actually, I love socks. You can buy me socks. I need more ties. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.